much, Chairman sir. I'm jumping out of the barriers now
Yeah, thank you.
and show you some animal remains. First of all, thank you very much, Prabhakarji, Michelle, and Sharada for inviting me here. Present my work. First, acknowledgements to the people who have helped. Sitting here, A.K. Bhan from MS University of Baroda, B.R. Madi sir from National Museum at that time, Dr. Dikshit from IIS, and Dr. A.S. Gaur from NIO. All these people gave me material to study other than what Deccan College has excavated. So I could present some of the slides. Now, when I come to teamwork, these are my students and colleagues who have helped me in this particular endeavor. Dr. Pankaj Goyal is in Deccan College right now. Sharada is here, Abhayan is here, and Jayashri Mungur from Mauritius. She was also my student who helped me during the Harappan studies. And of course, all credit goes to our guru, Dr. Thomas, who has taught all of us to study how to animal bones. Then I'll come to this at Harappan animal studies started long back in 1931 when Sewell and Guha first analyzed material, and then Prashad in 1934. Since then, so many sites have been excavated. So much of material has been studied, Harappan studies I am talking about. And there have been certain reviews as well, which I have put there in the slide. All these reviews from time to time have highlighted what we have achieved next, we have achieved next. And the last review was in 2012. So now again, 11 years are passed and I'm now reviewing it today. Again, the work which has been done mostly during last decade or so. Again, I can skip this because everyone knows the Harappan map here. These are the Harappan sites in India which have been studied, and some skeletal remains have been available from these sites. Of course, I'm not going to show you the material from all the sites, but a few sites. My intention of showing some sites and the animal remains is that to emphasize upon you that the nature of the archaeofaunal data is not even. When we start interpreting the faunal record, the data is so uneven because of the sampling, because of not proper collection of material earlier, etc. So the data is uneven. So when we talk about anything about the animal remains or animal husbandry practices, or so these are the sites which I have listed here. All of them I have not studied. The first one was from northwestern India, and now the Harappan sites in Gujarat. And plus some sites from, one site from Alamgirpur from Uttar Pradesh. These are the sites I'm showing very quickly, the sites and the material. Again, I have chosen the material in such a way that you see variety of animal remains, not only mammals, but also fish, other things, because next Abhayan is going to talk specially on fish and Dr. Arti is going to talk about shade remains in particular. So, but still I have put some slides of fish and crabs and all these things together. This is a site of Bahola excavated by BHU under the Land, Water and Settlement project in 2012. This is the material. Again, my intention is not to say specifically which is what, but show you the kind of material and the conditions of preservation different at different sites. This is the site of Birdana. The faunal material was studied by Arti Deshpande, who is here, and her student Sen in 2012. The sample size is given there, which is, I think, is overlapped by the lower. Some 616 was the sample size. Then this is Burj in Haryana, because there is another Burj in Punjab, which the material we have not studied. Again, excavated by BHU under Land, Water and Settlement project. This is the faunal material. Again, some shells I am showing, gastropod and bivalve shells as well. Most of the reports are published, but wherever it is not published, I have said it is not published. It's a site of Farmana excavated by Deccan College and RIH in Kyoto. And of course, Manmohan Kumar was also involved from Rohtak University at that time. This is the material which Sharda has studied for her PhD specifically. And also there is a paper by all of us in 2017. Then the site of Girawad, which was again excavated under the same project. This is the material from that. Again, Sharda has studied for her PhD, and the report is published, a short report is published of Girawad. This is a site of Karsola. This was excavated by Deccan College together with ASI in 2011. The entire material has been examined. And Abhayan was involved in this material. It is this report is not yet published. This is a site of Lohat. It was a small excavation studied by MD University Rohtak and University of Delhi together. This material is also unpublished because the excavator gave us the material and never gave us the provenance. Mitathal is a site which has been discussed earlier also. Mitathal was excavated many times, but this material came from the project of Deccan College as well as RIH in Kyoto. This was studied. This material was studied. Again, Sharda has helped in studying 674 skeletal remains. And then there is another one which was excavated by Manmohan Kumar later on, 1,279 specimens were examined. The funniest part is between two excavations, I had visited the site, and after the second excavation, within 3 months, again when I visited, there was nothing left. 90% of the site was destroyed within 3 months after this excavation was conducted. Earlier, I think Dr. Ajit Prashad talked about destruction of site, Mitathal itself. This is the site of Masudpur. There are two Masudpur, and this was excavated by under this land, water and settlement project by BHU and Cambridge University together. This is the material. Material is very well preserved. There are no attachments. There is no calcrete or anything on that. This is a site of Kunal, which was recently excavated by IAS and State Department of Archaeology of Haryana between 16 and 2019. The material is enormous, but a sample was studied. Sorry, I think the material is kept here. I will point your attention to this one on the left-hand side, because often there is a question that when we say it is Bos indicus or a humped cattle we have identified, how do we identify humped cattle? This is a thoracic vertebra. This is called spina bifida. The vertebra, 3 specific vertebrae, they have a fork-like structure which supports the hump which is there. So whenever you see this spina bifida, we are very sure that this is a humped cattle. It may not be prominent in all the vertebrae, but the middle one of the 3 is certainly very prominent. And if we find it, this is not the middle one, this is the first one. So we identify it as a definitely humped cattle. Then Rakhigadi, which is often discussed, the skeletal, human skeletons were discussed right now. Huge material has been collected, but only 687 bones have been studied, published so far. This is Ropad, which was excavated by Dr. Prabhakar. So he called it Roopnagar. The entire material has been studied where Jayashri was with me. Then there is a site of Dabli-vas-Chugta, again in, under the project of land, water and settlement by Dr. R.N. Singh and Cameron Petrie. This material is not published. In the center, this bone belongs to wild ass. I'm coming to that wild ass and horse thing later on. This is a site of Karanpura excavated by Dr. Prabhakar. Entire material has been studied. 8,000 specimens have been examined. Jayashri was with me. This report is not yet, sorry. The report is not yet published. It's a site of Khirsara in Gujarat, excavated by ASI. Again, entire material has been studied. 6,000 specimens have been examined. You see a lot of shell waste and usual material there. This is a site of Kanmer, excavated by Rajasthan Vidyapit and RIH in Kyoto. Entire faunal material has been examined, and Pankaj Goyal has done his PhD on this material. This material is very interesting for two reasons. Number one is that we have a continuous occupation at the site of different phases of Harappan culture. And because of that, we could study what changes are there in the faunal record at one particular site, which has not been possible elsewhere. Because we have only one site or only two phases of the culture, sometimes mature and late, sometimes early and mature. So this becomes very easy here to study what changes took place in the faunal wealth at that point. This is a site of Jadak excavated by MSU Baroda. Again, entire material was examined. Jadak also called Pithad, I think. Same. Then Shikarpur excavated by MSU Baroda. Again, entire material was studied and the report has been published. These two are the small sites, Kanjetar and Kaz in Gujarat, excavated by NIO, Goa. Kanjetar is on the southwest of Kodinar and Kaz is east of Kodinar. Here I'm showing you crab remains. There is a crab finger on the right hand side of you. This is Scala serrata, black crab, which is of course a marine crab. This is another site of Bokhira near Porbandar in Gujarat, excavated by NIO. Material is small. Again, I'm showing you crab remains on your right there. And on the left-hand side is a wild buffalo phalanx. There it is very interesting to see many wild buffalo skeletal remains at the site of Bokhira. This also has been published. Now coming to the animals in general, what animals do we see in the Harappan context in general? Of course, we see all kinds of animal remains such as mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, mollusks, and crabs, which I have shown you just now. For a variety of reasons, they have been in the society like as a source of food, hide, milk, wool, labor, ornaments, tools, pets, etc., all of them. I'm not going into that part right now. Now, these are the species. I'm just putting the lists here, the species of birds and reptiles. If you see this afterwards, you'll see that the list is, the number of species are very less when we come to birds and reptiles. Then we have the other non-mammals such as fish. Now this list is increased. I have not included Abhayan's work here. So the list of fish is much more now, what I am showing you. We have mollusks, we have crabs, 4 kinds of crabs so far identified. Now, I have used statistical techniques of what is called ubiquity. It's a simple one to do. Ubiquity index is showing you how many sites are showing which particular species. Instead of talking in terms of percentages, this is a ubiquity index which can further be used for further statistical work. So you see 100% ubiquity means present everywhere. Now we have cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, pig in certain numbers. For example, 73.33 means it is found in 73% sites. Then we have cat, dog, horse, camel, although I have shown a picture of, I can't also read it. No, it's further side also I have it. I have shown a picture of one-humped camel here, but it could also be two-humped camel. And then ass, or domestic donkey. Now coming to these domestic mammals, ubiquity of cat is 13.33%. Coming to horse, which is a very controversial hot topic, but I'm showing you the site names: Lothal, Puntasi, Malvan in Gujarat, Shikarpur, Surkotada. Now I can't read in between. Ganeval, Kalibangan, Mohenjodaro, Harappa, and Perak. These are the sites where horse has been identified earlier. Then we have camel at a few sites, possibly at Rojdi as well. It is written that possibly it is a camel. And domestic donkey at Kalibangan, Kunal, this recently early Harappan context, Rangpur, B, Puntasi, and Surkotada. So these are the sites where horse, ass, and camel, cats have been found. Now coming to wild mammals, the spectrum is very large. very large spectrum of wild mammals. We have elephant in form of ivory, no elephant bones so far identified from any Harappan sites. Although in other contexts like Chalcolithic, Neolithic, we have elephant bones also, but not in Harappan context. We have gaur, wild buffalo, plenty in many sites. Nilgai, of course, ubiquitous, present everywhere. Wild goat, only identified at a site of Shikarpur. This excavation was conducted by State Department of Archaeology long time ago. And from that faunal material, we have identified a wild goat. Now, it was very surprising even in those days from where a wild goat can come, because we don't have any record of wild goat species in the last 10,000, let's say 15,000 years. So we don't know from where it has landed up in Shikarpur. Afterwards, me and Dr. Thomas, we thought that it might have come from somewhere else as a novelty specimen to trade or something, and this landed up in Shikarpur. Then we have many deer, antelopes. No need to go into each species. Continued with carnivores, we have jackal, wolf, leopard, cheetah also. Cheetah, as known as jubatus. Cheetah as well, at Kanmer, mature Harappan, jungle cat, desert cat, fox, Indian wild dog, only at one site of Rojdi. Then we have wild pig, wild ass, sloth bear, which is interesting because it has been found at 5 sites. Sloth bear has been found at 5 sites, and one among them is Farmana. And Farmana specimen shows that perhaps they had a long distance contact with Aravlis or somewhere, because that is the only nearby place where sloth bears can survive. Then we have primates at 2 sites and other mammals. So wild animal spectrum is very large. This is just to show you some pictures of that, with high ubiquity to low ubiquity, coming to like mongoose and jungle cat, 10 to 12% ubiquity. Less than that is one-horned rhinoceros, which has been found at Karanpura, which has been found at many other sites as well. And less than 10% is Bubalus arni, or the wild buffalo, panther, desert cat, mouse deer, etc. Now, this is all big spectrum of species. So what I have done some couple of years ago, and now all our students are following that system, I have classified the species into different habitat types. These are the habitat types, type 1 to type 8, and U means ubiquitous, found everywhere. So it cannot denote any particular environmental picture. So if you classify all these species into such kind of habitat classification, what we see is type 4, shrubs, savannas, bushy areas, near cultivation. Those species are dominating everywhere. So most of the species that we have seen earlier, mammalian, wild mammalian species, they are coming from this kind of a environmental setup, near cultivation. So probably they were mostly utilizing this particular fauna around their sites, not going much into further. But in certain sites we have species which are from thick wood jungles as well, thick wooded jungles or thin forest, or what we call marginal forests, deserts, wooded jungles, swamps, tall grass kind of thing. So this is one of the ways to look into, little gross way, but looking into the habitat types from where Harappans could have hunted the animals. Now coming to completely different topic altogether of the Harappans, is looking at the cattle height through, of course, animal bones. Through cattle height, one of the ways to go from here to the category or say genetic evidence is what kind of a population they had of which type of cattle. So I have compared the 3 sites, and of course Sharda has helped me in that. Girawad, Farmana and Mitathal together, compared with other sites like Rakigadi, Masudpur and Ropad. Now here the data is uneven. Please remember, as a statistician, I'm very well aware that only 3 specimens or only 9 specimens I'm studying, but that is a limit because we cannot get more than that. What to do about it? Anyway, so please look at this coefficient of variation, which is in the last corner there. And it shows, if the coefficient of variation is large, it shows much more genetic diversity or much more inflow of other genetic material into it. If it is not, then the coefficient of variation at a particular site will go down and go down if there is only continuous inbreeding within the same population, genetic population. Now, when two tests were performed, one is Kruskal-Wallis H test, chi-square test, it is actually, it shows significance. That means the sites which are marked Girawad, Farmana and Mitathal are different than Rakhigadi, Masudpur and Ropad. How to interpret is a different thing, but it shows that there were at least two subpopulations within North India itself, showing different stature of the cattle. Then from Gujarat, because I have not compared not put them together. Gujarat and North India different. When we have Kanmer, which is in Kutch, and Jaidak, Shikarpur and Padri there, what we can see here is, yes, we can see there is a difference between different sites. Now look at this CV column for Kanmer itself. We see early Harappan, there is only one specimen, so we cannot say anything more. The coefficient of variation has dropped from 8.4% to 1.82% in late Harappan phase, which means at Kanmer there was no external intervention of cattle genetic stock for at least this many years. So the cattle, they continue to be inbred at site of Kanmer. Now I am coming to the end of this. What we need to do, what we have done so far. Now, so far I have been talking about macro remains, obviously, because my expertise is not in the residue or ancient DNA so much. Species distinguishing keys is at the root of everything. Correctly identifying species means you have achieved 99% of your goal in your field. So for mammals, we have good distinguishing keys made by Dr. Thomas, myself, and our many other people together. Good information is already there. Some work needs to be done more, but mostly it is all right. For birds, needs serious attention because no work has been done about it. We have been just doing with whatever limited capacity of distinguishing markers we have developed so far. Same thing is true of reptiles. Same thing was true of fish, but now with Abhayan's entry into the field, Abhayan has started this work very nicely, and very soon, within a couple of years, we will get much more secure identification keys for fish. This was also done by Arti Deshpande for mollusks long time ago, and she specialized in that. So we have good information available of how to identify mollusks. Crabs need very serious attention because almost no work has been done. Whenever I found crab, then I started comparing the present material and then landed up with identification. But there are 4 crabs which we have identified, but there are at least 600 species of crab in India, which are likely to be found in the Harappan record or any other faunal record for that matter. Now, resolving the issue of horse ass, wild ass, I suggest that it should be purely addressed or focusing on biological principles and completely delinking it from all the kind of discussion about AIT, Aryan invasion theory, or the opposite theory of going out, coming in, or not going anywhere, all kinds of such things. Aryans, non-Aryans, Aryans, Dravidians, so-called Aryans. So keeping it aside, purely on biological basis, we need to sort it out once for all, looking at whatever horse material is available in India today, horse, wild ass and ass material, in one stroke, finish that long-lasting debate of running into circles. So this is what I feel needs to be done now. Not me myself, because I have already finished my quota of working. Use of other data sources is obviously important, like residue analysis, which has a lot of promises. Ancient DNA, of course, we have tried it, and Dr. Valimbe said since 2000, he said it is very frustrating to get ancient DNA. But in 2011, it was possible to get ancient DNA from cattle remains from Chalcolithic sites, and it has been successful. So there is a lot of scope for doing that. And of course, use of any other sources which can enhance our understanding of animals in the Harappan world. Thank you for patient listening. We will discuss it later. Thank you.